And good day. January 17th, 2021. Wow. So here we are back in the shop, working on my boat. Decided to go ahead and do the push rods. We're gonna powder coat those, so I need to get those out. I'm gonna do what's called a top overhaul in the aviation industry. That's where you take everything on top of the engine from like here out, and you put new gaskets in it, check it, inspect it for condition, put it back together. That's going to solve, it's going to get these a blue. I'm going to go with the same blue. I'm going to carry the same blue on to the push rod tubes all throughout. That's also going to give me a chance to get new gaskets everywhere, solve a few oil leaks. And that's the mission today. All right, so let's get to work. So it is still cold here in Florida. It was 47 degrees here this morning. I'm out in the shop, gonna get some work done. We gotta get back on the lake. So this is the status update. This is where we are. Got the crank case seal in. Right up here is the old one. See that nice beautiful split right up top? They fooled me into thinking that I had a split seal. This is not supposed to be split like that. This is one full piece. And then whoever put it in, installed it, they cut it. But it looks like it might have been a factory cut, but it was not. It's a man-made cut, that's for sure. Anyways, so this seal is $20, okay? The other seal that is supposed to be split is $90. So for a second, I thought maybe it was supposed to have the other seal, the split seal. But after pricing out the split seal, I decided to go ahead and put the full piece one piece seal in and see if it worked. I could gamble with that $20 a lot easier than I can gamble with $90 since I already spent it. So anyways, I put it on, stretched it over, put the spring in. It worked just fine. It's touching all around. I know it's making contact. It's the right seal. Anyways, got a rear engine mount in. I drilled the bolts here so I can safety wire them in. Got the engine mount. I built a shim, a spacer in here so that whenever you tighten the bolt down, it doesn't just crush the engine mounts. It tightens down on the spacer instead of tightening down on the rubber engine mounts. This side I got in yesterday. All my rockers are in, push rod tubes. Oiled everything as I put it in, a little pre-oil. The push rod tubes, see it's a little darker here and it fades into light. Powder coated all those. So, yeah. These are all my pushrod tubes, rocker arms, marked up, cylinder number 2, 4, 6, intake, exhaust, just to keep them all. These are actually different length. They set the gap for the lifter to the rocker arms so that the valves don't open or close, or so that they do open and close at the right specs. Right here, so there's a little bit of wiggle there. So I got down to the last one, and I couldn't get the clearance I wanted on the arms, rocker arms that I wanted. So as you turn, when you go through this, you gotta turn it to get the clearance. You see how this one's further out than this one is? That means this one's under pressure. So you gotta turn the crank to get the cam off of the valves, or off the valves, off the lifters, off the push rods. As you do that, you build up oil pressure though. You gotta bleed all the oil out of these lifters before you put the engine back together. But me turning it built up oil pressure and got this lifter back under oil pressure. So I had to take it, stop, take it back out, I'm about to bleed it back down and finish up this last one. So here it is, all bled down, 3 parts. Get in there. And I can easily compress it with my fingers. That's what it's supposed to do. When it's all filled with oil, solid, it's pretty solid. Because of course you can compress air, you can't compress fluid. So there you go. So I'm still not getting the clearance I want off of this one. So I'm going to pop that one back out. I'm going to change out the push rods. I just can't let it go. There is no clearance there. Got clearance there, nothing there. Clearance, that one's under load, that one's under load. Clearance, everything else was fine except for this one. I'm going to change out the push rods. These push rods come in different lengths, so I'm just going to swap them out with a different one. That's going to have to wait for another day. Well, I think that's enough for this morning. I'm gonna head back to the house. I might get back over here later on today, get some more work done. But let me show you what we got. There it is. She's coming together. Got all my push rod tubes in, valve covers on, valve covers tight on this side. Oil return lines, oil return, oil return. Powder coated those blue so they match everything else. So what happens is the oil gallery up here on the cam pushes oil down the push rod tubes into the rocker. This splashes a little bit of oil on the valves, fills up a little bit in here, and then just gravity feeds into the oil tubes back into your oil pan, which is right here. And if you look right, see all the way through, you can see all the way through. That's your plenum chamber for your carburetor. So we got the carburetor down here, and I still got to clean my air filter. Brings the air in, mixes with fuel, comes up into the plenum chamber, out. Got to connect the tube, comes to here and feeds it. And you can see they're all interconnected in there. Some people criticized Lycoming for integrating their fuel plenum chamber into the oil pan because it can create hot spots. Fuel is being injected or fed into the cylinders at different temperatures. But, you know, the engineers got, you know, problems to solve, and, you know, solving one problem usually creates another problem. Integrating the plenum chamber into the oil pan like that does help with oil cooling. So that solves one problem, but it creates another problem in the fact that now you may have hot spots in your fuel being fed, fuel air mixture being fed into your cylinders. I just put this one on. This is the one right there. I got to change that push rod tube. Not happy with the clearance that I got there. So right down here it is. Where's it at? There it is. There's the number. 73486, I believe. Anyways, these numbers represents different sizes. So we'll get a smaller size. Get the clearance I want. And then that cylinder will be better, or be good. I should have noticed it when I was taking it apart. I had a real hard time pushing out the rocker arm. So that gave me a sense that something wasn't quite right when I was taking this cylinder off to begin with. And, you know, when you get somebody else's stuff, maybe they did something right, maybe they did something wrong, and you got to figure it out as you go. All right, so that's it for this video. Like I said, if you got any questions, comments, put them down in the comment section below. Answers guaranteed 100% correct. My wife is sort of wondering how I can make that guarantee. Sometimes the correct answer is, I don't know. That's it. All right, give me a question, comments. Talk to you later. Later.